Hi everybody, it's Claire with day 22 of the Art by Marlene Advent Calendar. So today we got another chipboard with the phrase "prove them wrong." And so I thought I would use some more of the collage paper as inspiration for this page. So the little square that you can see is what I'm using for my inspiration. I'm going to try and recreate some of those circles on my page and then put a similar background colour on there too, as well as sticking that piece on there. So there is gesso on the page, and I'm starting off, I used the stencil from Dina Wakley, Circles for Painting, and just chose some of those circles to stick on the page. And then I am just going in and adding blobs of colour, being careful where to put them next to each other, where they could make a muddy colour. But actually, as I've discovered, it really doesn't matter because you can go in again and add more layers on top, and it really does make the colours even richer. So don't worry too much if you're doing something like this and the colours do mix and make a muddy colour. Once it's dry with acrylic, you can layer it over the top and you can probably rescue it. So I'm looking carefully at the colours that are on that little square of paper that you can just see in the side of the frame on the left, and trying to mix and match the colours. And I'm using mostly Dina Wakley media, apart from my favourite pink, which is from Amsterdam Acrylic, and it's the permanent red violet light. So you can see I'm gradually filling in the circles, just adding those colours. So I've used all my usual ones like ruby, tangerine, lemon, lime, turquoise. I also used peacock as well today. Then that's that pink from Amsterdam Acrylic, and I also used blackberry and added in a little bit of eggplant at the end as well. There's something about bright rainbow colours that makes me so happy. So pretty. So I'm just layering up the colours, and then it gets a really good dry. And then I think, oh yeah, some places the yellow had kind of disappeared, so I did go back in and add a bit more yellow. And you can see it really does change the brightness quite a lot. So then it was trying to match that colour for the background, so I used some of the permanent red violet light and added quite a lot of white to it, and it was fairly similar, and I felt it was close enough, so I just painted that onto the background around the circles. You see it's close enough, isn't it? And then when I'd done that, I did go in and mix a little bit more of the blackberry into this colour, just to darken up some areas, to give a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more interest to the background. Okay, so this is where I'm adding in a little bit more of the darker tone, only a little bit. And then it all needed a really good dry, because I knew I was going to be doing some outlining on these circles, and I didn't want to be doing that if the paints were at all damp. So then I'm just using any paint that's left in the tray, and I'm just using my finger and going in and just smudging a bit more paint in there, just to kind of brighten up some of those colours. In some areas where some of the colours have got a bit lost, I'm just darkening, brightening, I don't know which one is it, brightening some of them up and darkening some of the others up. Maybe it's both. Yeah, starting to feel quite happy with the way this is going. So then I'm just using a black gel pen, and I'm just going and doing sketchy lines around the circles, and then adding like a really tiny scallop detail which was the same on the piece of paper that came from the small collage pack, collage booklet, just because I want these to match with what's already on that little piece of paper, because it's going to get stuck on the page as the starting point for this design. I wasn't particularly bothered about keeping these neat and tidy, so I would just I did do it quite quickly. I wasn't worried about keeping it uniform. So then I was deciding where I was going to stick the quote, and I felt that the background was a bit too plain. So using this stamp set that I've used quite a few times, I think it's called Stamp 77, I think it is. Sorry, excuse the flapping, I'm just having a look. Yes, it is, Stamp 77. I love these circles. So I've just stamped a few of those onto the background using the black archival ink. They will be a good starting point for adding more dots in a bit with Posca pens, in an attempt to just break up the background. Here I'm just using a waterproof black fine liner and just finishing off some of the little circles that didn't stamp properly. So then I'm using the 5 PCM Posca pen and just adding some dots. And I also went in with the gel pen and added some dots too. Then I stuck the phrase in place, and I'm afraid the camera stopped recording. I also added some white splatters and a couple more phrases from the Art by Marlene essential sticker phrases, sticky quotes, and some stars from that too. And then that was it, finished. Oh, I added some white highlights around the edge of the circles inside those tiny scallop details, just to kind of pop those out a bit more too. Oh, the other thing I did was I went onto that circle that I stuck, the square of paper that I stuck on from the collage pack, and I did add some more paint onto some of those and brighten up some of those colours too. So there I'm just using a bit of double-sided tape to stick the quote in place, and actually use that quote to hide the top and bottom of the piece of paper. So there you go, you can see that's the finished page. You can see the splatters, the other quotes from the sticky quotes pack, and the stars that I found in there too that I just popped on the page. So thanks for watching. Come back tomorrow for day 23.